Okay, it's recording.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, members and guests on this call. Today is Friday, November the 3rd. My name is Roxana Gamusio. I am the Executive Director with the Private Probation Service Council for the state of Tennessee. This is our regularly scheduled meeting that has been noticed to the public. So the first item of business I would like to do is do roll call vote to assure that we have quorum in order to proceed. If I call your name, please go ahead and unmute yourself. Let me know that you're here, and then we will continue with our meeting. Judge Brody Kane.
Here.
Thank you, sir. Judge Teresa Nelson.
Here.
Thank you, ma'am. Judge Jason Hudson.
Here.
Thank you. Judge Joel Perry. I'll mark that Judge Perry hasn't been able to join us yet. Stacy Kelly.
Here.
Thank you. And Michael Wright.
Here.
Thank you. We have quorum in order to proceed, and along on our meeting are joining us Michael Underhill, of course, who's the attorney for the program, as well as Jesse Gentry is also with us in case we have any questions. So for the moment, we will continue with our meeting. Notice of this meeting was added to the council's website as of November 4th of 2022. Separately from that, we've posted this current agenda on October the 27th. So that meets our notice requirements. Anyone that is on a call and would like to participate and ask questions or have feedback on the agendas posted will be given a chance to do so before the meeting ends during our public piece. With that item being taken care of, Michael Underhill, if I could please ask you to read the statement of necessity on the record, sir.
Thank you, Roxana, and good morning, board. This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Tennessee Private Probation Services Council. Because there is not a physical quorum present, a statement of necessity will be read into the record and filed with the Secretary of State's office. Pursuant to Tennessee Code Annotated, Section 8-44-108, if a physical quorum is not present at the location of the meeting of a governing body, excuse me, in order for a quorum of members to participate by electronic means, the governing body must make a determination that a necessity exists. Furthermore, Tennessee Code Annotated Section 8-44-108, subsection A3 defines a necessity as a matter to be considered by the governing body at that meeting requiring timely action by the body. The physical presence of a quorum of the members is not practical in the period of time required action, and that participation of a quorum of the members by electronic or other means of communication is necessary. This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Tennessee Private Probation Services Council, and the necessity of this meeting with members attending by teleconference means is to conduct timely matters of the council that must be discussed and decided prior to the next meeting. All votes will be conducted by roll call, and that completes the statement of necessity.
Thank you, Mike. Members, I would need a motion and a second in order to go ahead and file the statement of necessity.
Judge Kane, I so move.
Thank you, Judge Kane. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Judge Kane and a second by Judge Hudson by roll call vote. If you'll just unmute yourself as we go through these, we'll try to do these quickly. Judge Kane?
Aye.
Judge Nelson?
Aye.
Judge Hudson?
Aye.
Stacy Kelly?
Aye.
Michael Wright?
Aye.
And Judge Joel Perry? Thank you. We have a quorum to proceed. The next item on our agenda is the agenda itself. All the members received this via email and have had a chance to look at the agenda. If there are no changes, we would need a motion to accept the agenda as it's been presented, and we're going to be able to follow through.
I'll move that we accept the agenda.
Thank you, Judge Hudson. Do we have a second motion on that?
I'll second.
Thank you, Judge Nelson. To make sure that everyone is in agreement, by roll call vote, Judge Kane?
Aye.
Judge Nelson?
Aye.
Judge Hudson,
Aye.
Stacy Kelly,
Aye.
and Michael Wright.
Aye.
Thank you, members. Next item of business is the minutes. The August meeting minutes were also sent to everyone electronically. If you have any amendments or questions or changes, happy to address those. Otherwise, as they've been presented, if there are no changes, I would need a motion and a second to go ahead and put those on the website and make them public.
Judge Kane, I so move.
Thank you, Judge Kane. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Judge Nelson. By roll call vote, Judge Kane,
Aye.
Judge Nelson,
Aye.
Judge Hudson,
Aye.
Judge Perry,
Aye.
Stacy Kelly,
Aye.
and Michael Wright.
Aye.
Thank you, members. Our next item of business, it has to do with officer applications. I'll give a brief explanation, then welcome your questions. Two different applications were sent to all the members. They were redacted. We will be referring to these as applicant 1, ER, and then applicant 2 is initials TB. These applications include felony charges on their FBI and or TBI reports. The company did their renewal as always, and all companies are of course responsible for their officers, provided all the records for these two individuals that had on the criminal history reports items that Michael Underhill and I reviewed, but believe that it is only the council's perspective or your role to be able to accept these so that we may license these officers. So we have reviewed all the information prior to this meeting. We've had communication with the company. We are informed that before these individuals, both of them being hired, the company took the next step, which was to consult with the judge in their jurisdiction. That would be, in essence, giving cases to these individuals. The information was shared with those judges, and they were hired with the approval of the judges within that jurisdiction. So that gave us, of course, comfort, and we wanted to share that information with you. Along with the documents that you've reviewed or you're reviewing as we go through these, there's information about the felonies, the convictions. They've been pled down, and in both one of the cases, the record is already expunged from this officer. This individual's record is already expunged. The other one has the motion in the pipeline, getting ready to be approved. It may already be approved by now, and so. In both cases, I think one of the key pieces is that the judges in that jurisdiction were aware of the history and okay hiring these individuals. I will turn it over and make sure that we have plenty of time to discuss questions if anyone has any. We would need an approval in order to license each of these officers. So that's why they're here before you. Any questions, concerns? I will mute myself for a minute. Michael Underhill, if you had anything to add, please go right ahead.
Roxanne, I don't have anything to add further on that.
Thank you, sir.
I would say this, having reviewed each of these applications, I'm in favor of them being admitted. I mean, there's definitely a trend by the legislature to allow more and more folks to be able to have matters expunged. It's definitely like I said, that's the trend. And this happened, a few years ago on this. So I would certainly love to hear everyone else's opinion on this, but having reviewed it, I would not have any objection, particularly given the fact that each of the judges in the particular jurisdiction have signed off and given their approval. You would assume they would know these individuals to some extent before they could give such approval. So that's just my 2 cents.
This is Judge Nelson, and I've reviewed the packet regarding both individuals. Both of them have, at least according to the letter and the documentation, made tremendous strides and, seem to have put all this behind them. They've now, one's expunged, one's on their way to being expunged. And at least in my experience, it's these type of individuals who sometimes are able to be of the most benefit to the probationers because they do have this experience, and can share what they've gone through to assist others. So I'm likewise in favor.
Roxanne, do we need a motion?
We do, sir. And I want to thank you, first of all, for the comments. Really appreciate those. I know that the company will and the officers as well. So yes, we would, if it's okay with you, need a motion for each of them since there's two separate applications. If there is further conversation, I want to give everybody plenty of time. But if there is none, we will be addressing applicant one, initials are ER. We will need a motion and a second, and then by roll call vote, I'll make sure that everyone's in agreement, and then we would proceed with the second applicant.
I'll make a motion on applicant one.
Thank you, Judge Perry. We have a motion by Judge Perry for the first applicant, initials ER, to go ahead and approve the officer as a new officer working under that company. Do we have a second motion?
I'll second.
Thank you, Judge Nelson. We have a motion and a second by roll call vote to approve our first applicant for a license to continue the job of seeing and hearing cases on misdemeanor probation. Judge Kane,
Aye.
Judge Nelson,
Aye.
Judge Hudson,
Aye.
Judge Perry,
Aye.
Stacy Kelly,
Aye.
Michael Wright.
Aye.
Thank you, members. The next item would be the second applicant that you've also received, initials TB. We would need a motion and a second to proceed and also approve her for a license.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Judge Perry. Do we have a second?
I'll second it, Judge Kane.
Thank you, Judge Kane. By roll call vote, and we are now approving the second officer. Judge Kane,
Aye.
Judge Nelson,
Aye.
Judge Hudson,
Aye.
Judge Perry,
Aye.
Stacy Kelly,
Aye.
and Michael Wright.
Aye.
Thank you, members. I really, we're happy to proceed with that and appreciate all your comments and your feedback. On our agenda, the next item that we will be addressing is the director's report. Just as quick information, we are not going over a legal report right now. We didn't have a lot of cases, but if there was a possibility that Michael Underhill and I were not going to be able to participate in this meeting. And so we wanted to go ahead and hold off on the legal report for the February meeting. In case there were any questions, we felt it would be handled better. We are very happy to be on this meeting with you, by the way. So the next item that you've gotten, again, sent to you would be the budget and the financial numbers. They are the final closing numbers for fiscal year 2022-23. And so on that report, you're able to see the 4 years. And we did end up with a surplus this year, which was wonderful. We ended up with 13,875 added to the program. That brings our surplus reserve at 604,984. This is informational, of course, but I always welcome any questions that you might have regarding this information. We ended up with a surplus because last year, as well as this year, had civil penalties on a case. Those have, that case is closed, so it's gone away. And we'll just see what happens with next fiscal year as far as the number of clients on probation. As you all know, that quarterly fee impacts a lot of our budget. If you have any questions, I welcome those. Otherwise, I think that is the only thing that we have for the budget. I don't see any raised hands or unmuted buttons. So the last item of business, and this is something that the council has always done, but we're going to make it official with every meeting as new business. I want to make sure that anyone participating in this meeting, and in our case, this is always done virtually, that you are able to ask questions or have comments regarding the agenda, that you have a moment to do so. But if there are no comments for the public or questions regarding the agenda, I'll be happy to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I would so move.
Thank you, Judge Kane. Do we have a second to go ahead and to adjourn our meeting?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Judge Hudson. I've got us ending at 10:15 by roll call vote. I want to make sure nothing has been left out and we're all in agreement. To adjourn, Judge Kane,
Aye.
Judge Nelson,
Aye.
Judge Hudson,
Aye.
Judge Perry,
Aye.
Stacy Kelly,
Aye.
and Michael Wright.
Aye.
Thank you, members. That is all that I have. I want to thank you for all you do for reviewing these applications the way you did ahead of time. It's very appreciated. Michael Underhill, I don't have anything else. Do you, sir, before we wrap up?
Nothing further, Roxana.
Wonderful. Thank you all very much. We will see you in 2024 on our first meeting.
Thank you. Have a